The Detroit Lions, after a week of misery, a week of losing in the playoffs and losing Ben Johnson and losing Aaron Glenn, losing Mark Brunell and Terrell Williams, and so many very incredibly talented coaches to other staffs this offseason, are finally starting to fight back as they have signed Kacey Rodgers, the former defensive lines coach and rush game coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a coach that has been around the NFL for quite some time, a coach that is highly regarded across the league and had multiple interviews set up with both the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, along with other NFL franchises across the league. He was a very highly sought after coach, and after 6 years in Tampa Bay, he is officially making his way to the Detroit Lions staff. Now, I know a lot of people were very high on Terrell Williams, as they very much should have been. He's going off to be the defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots, and that is rightfully deserved. He's been one of the best defensive line coaches in the NFL over the past few seasons, but Kacey Rodgers has been right up there with him as some of the most productive pass rushers, and some of the best defensive line play from the NFC South has been from Tampa Bay over the last couple of years. Think of guys like Shaquille Barrett, Vita Vea, Kalijah Kancey, Jason Pierre-Paul, who was putting up 8 to 10 sacks under Kacey Rodgers. Ndamukong Suh played under Kacey Rodgers for a number of years, along with several other players that have seen career years, great numbers, and fantastic production under the tutelage of Kacey Rodgers. Now, to my knowledge, he comes to the Detroit Lions solely as the defensive line coach, not taking responsibilities for the run game coordinating, but that could potentially be part of the deal as well, or co-run game coordinator, something like that. That part has not been disclosed, but what we do know is that Kacey Rodgers will be joining the Detroit Lions coaching staff at the bare minimum as their defensive line coach. And I think that's a fantastic hire for the Detroit Lions. I know a lot of people were really upset again when Terrell Williams left, but taking a look at where Tampa Bay ranked a couple of years ago, and even just this past season, their defensive line, despite not having the biggest names, was really quite productive. Their pressure rate ranked just about 10th in the NFL, about 24.3%. Their pressures on the season ranked just inside the top 5 with 173, just behind the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. The sacks that they had on the year, they had 46, which puts them just outside of the top 5 in ability to get to the quarterback. Their QB knockdown percentage is, again, a little outside the top 10, but still within the first half of the NFL in terms of rankings. Their quarterback knockdown, again, was just inside the top 10. Their hurry percentage was just outside the top 10. Their number of total hurries was inside the top 5. And their blitzing percentage, although being incredibly high, is part of the reason that their defensive line was so incredibly good. Yes, Tampa Bay blitzed a lot. They sent quite a few blitzes in their time last year, but overall, their defensive line put up really, really good production. And not only as a bunch of pass rushers, but as a run defense as well. Taking a look at Tampa Bay's run defense a season ago, their touchdowns allowed at 13th is tied at 10th place in the NFL with the Rams, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Green Bay Packers. Their yardage allowed, it ranked 4th in the NFL with just 1,663 yards. Their yards per attempt across the NFL was ranking 11th in the NFL, tied actually for 9th across the league. So whether it be the run defense, whether it be the pass rush, there are a lot of players that were able to succeed, and a lot of team success was seen under the tutelage of Kacey Rodgers. Taking a look individually at some of the players just this past season, there was quite a bit of success. Going to the sack numbers, Kalijah Kancey, the second-year player out of Pittsburgh, had 7.5 at defensive tackle. Vita Vea, the nose tackle, had 7 sacks. You have Logan Hall, who had 5.5 sacks. Yaya Diaby, who had 4.5 sacks this past season. Anthony Nelson, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka had 2 sacks. There was a lot of rotation and a lot of good quality pass rushing reps. And not to throw shade at Tampa Bay in any way, shape, or form, but I don't think they have an Aiden Hutchinson. I don't think they even have an Ali McNeil. So you get those two guys back and healthy, potentially draft a player like Mike Green in the first round of the NFL draft, and you're giving Kacey Rodgers, a coach with a proven track record of putting great production on the field from his defensive line, and you're giving him a defensive player of the year candidate. You're giving him a Pro Bowl defensive tackle, 2 Pro Bowl defensive tackles, potentially with DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil, a first round rookie as a pass rusher, and you're giving him a lot of talent to work with as he joins this coaching staff immediately. So with that being said, that is all I have for you guys right now on Kacey Rodgers. Again, it's unclear if he'll take up run game coordinating as well, or if he initially will stick with just the defensive line. That is something that still has to be determined and reported on. But the Detroit Lions are fighting back. They have signed Kacey Rodgers. They are bringing in a brand new defensive line coach. And for the first hire of the offseason, the first real move that Dan Campbell has had to make since losing all of his coaching staff, I think this is a fantastic one to make. It bolsters the defensive line, and I'm really, really excited for things to come. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this hire, what you think about Kacey Rodgers as a coach. There's still a lot more to go over, and we will go far more in-depth in a future video. But with that being said, I just wanted to break the news right now, let you guys know, and introduce you to the newest coach on the Detroit Lions staff. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, and as always, go Lions.